that taxpayers underreporting income or inflating their deductions and exemptions in income tax return can attract heavy penalties. Now, those penalties could range from 50 to 200% of the tax evaded. So why this sudden warning? Well, it seems it follows several cases of salaried employees of well-known companies in Bengaluru, including IBM, Vodafone and Infosys, filing income tax returns that showed incorrect incomes and or deductions to claim refunds that they were not entitled to. Well, ITR forms for 2018-2019 assessment years are anything but subtle. They ask for many more details. The onus is now on the taxpayer to provide detailed proof of exemptions and deductions claimed. We're asking, is this a legitimate crackdown, or is this going to harass you, the salaried taxpayer, even further? Now, join that debate. You can tweet us. You can also call the numbers that we're going to be flashing on your screens right through this program. But also our reporters are going to be getting your voices live to the people who matter. Let me first go across to my colleague Sneha, joining us from Thiruvananthapuram, with people who clearly have some strong opinions on what they feel is harassment by the IT department. Sneha, over to you.
It's always a big caution for people when they are filling their income tax forms, but now it's even going to get more critical and crucial to be extremely cautious, and the reason is because any error in that can get you prosecuted. Well, that's the new regulations, and joining us are a group of tennis players, working professionals. Let's ask them what do they think about it. So if I can start with you, your name please, and what do you have to say about this new regulation which the government seems to have brought out because of certain past instances with some IT companies?
Yeah, my name is Kriya. The basic thing is that in putting some regulation and all, it's okay. But you should give a chance for each and every person to actually do what if they have done a mistake. Anyway, you should give some time. At least a cooling period of 1 year should be given. Other than just penalizing and putting in prison is not right for it, because in a country like India, because it's a big country and we have lot of working class, lot of people are there. So I request whoever, just give a cooling time of 1 year.
Cooling time of 1 year, perhaps some say that they should have at least been warned beforehand, but some saying this is also extremely crucial because there have been several instances where deductions have been underreported and many rackets have been unearthed.
Yeah, it's required that people have to be aware of these critical factors whereby they will report it correctly. But if some mistakes have taken place in an entry, definitely there should be a way out for that one. So give a little bit of chance for a person to see that he's warned first, and if it is repeated, a stern action should be taken.
And your name, sir?
My name is Radhakrishnan.
All right. So if you could also join us. One more thing which is being said is that even the employers have to be informed. The employers also have to take action against the employees who have erred in this manner. Some would say this is harassment of the working class, which is anyways dealing with a lot of changes in so many ways. On the other hand, some saying it's extremely necessary. Where do you stand?
My name is Krishna Kumar and I work in finance department in government.
You're the right person.
I work in government secretariat. I think it is a good move because a lot of incidents have been reported in the past where people have been taking advantage of the income tax distance. So once a rule is implemented, I think people will be aware of the consequences of it, and hopefully there won't be any malpractices connected to it. So,
but since you are in the finance department, let me also ask, these are such technical things involved, and there are chances to err. So just to take on this, the right at the beginning, as they said, without a cooling period, would that be something which you would be comfortable with personally?
So actually, for the government employees, I don't think there is a chance to err. But for the professional, for the business people, yes, there may be a chance. And as they pointed out, if you can have some sort of a cooling period for certain sections or something, then that'll be great. But for the government employees, I don't think it will be a issue at all, because everything is in the system and everything is there. Whatever they they are ready to give, that will be taken.
Right. Well, most here are welcoming it, but at least saying that they should be given some cushion period. There should be a scope to at least understand or appreciate some genuine mistakes. But largely, people even welcoming a move like this to ensure that income tax deductions happen in the right manner. With SP Babu, Sneha Koshi for Indie TV.
Sneha getting us those first voices from Thiruvananthapuram. Let me also now bring in our guests on the show tonight. Akhil Chandna, Director of Grant Thornton India Limited. Also Vaibhav Agarwal, a Chartered Financial Analyst with us. Let me begin with you, Mr. Chandna. The suggestion that at least some of our viewers are giving is, let it not be so harsh right away. If there is something that is indeed wrong with a particular IT return form, then, why not give a warning first before penalizing people up to 200% of the tax evaded, and B, why this necessity for also bringing in the employers and asking them to take action against employees? Is this all a bit too much?
I think people are right when they're saying so, because this misreporting and this incident happened in specific jurisdiction. Hence, it is unfair to paint the entire salaried class individuals with the same brush. So they are right. So, but I think it's very important to understand that to be complied. It's very important for the development of country, and we need to be 100% complied with all the taxes, and these taxpayers, especially the salaried class taxpayers, who are the biggest contributors towards the revenue of the country. As per the data available for 16-17, total tax paid by these payers are 1,44,000 crores, which is average per person comes to 76,000 rupees, almost 3 times what is paid by professionals and other individuals who are into profession and business. So, but it's very important for the government to understand the root cause why these salaried class people in that specific jurisdiction has done this, fraudulent practice. Because there's a lack of parity between the deductions allowed to the salaried individuals.
Okay, so you're saying there's a certain lack of clarity. That's an important point that's being made. Hold on to that thought. I have my first caller online, Ranjit Pandey, calling us from Patna. Ranjit, go ahead.
I think the government is not honest with the service class people. Whereas
request you to turn your television off, Mr. Pandey. Mr. Pandey.
Income tax returned filed by the businessman and the assessment made by the officers and the commissioners. Why are they accepting if they feel the income tax pay is not giving a clear picture? Why are they accepting it? Why not to find out the culprits and punish them? The whole country is being ruined by the businessmen. Look at the scams happening in this country. What percentage of service class has cheated this country, and what percentage of businessmen? And see these politicians, they are all in hand in gloves. The honest citizen of this country, the honest taxpayer is always being punished. This is unhealthy, and I would request the honest taxpayer not to succumb to these pressures. We pay honestly, and we want honest officers in this country, not get bugged by this wrong
Okay, Mr. Pandey, I can see you feel very strongly about this indeed. How would you suggest that, taxpayers go about doing this? Because, in effect, you will have to file those tax forms, and then if there is some kind of discrepancy, then the Income Tax Department is going to act on you, whether you like it or not.
Because we just want to fight, we'll fight in the end. And we'll see the right things that are happening in this country. We are an honest taxpayer. We want to be respected by the country.
Absolutely. Okay, that's a very valid point being made by Ranjit Pandey, our caller from Patna. Vaibhav Agarwal, do you believe that Mr. Pandey has a point? Here is a salaried taxpayer whose tax is getting deducted at source. They are probably the largest taxpayer base in the country in any case. When this group of people are being targeted further or being harassed further, isn't there a sense that this is all a bit unfair? What about the big violators? What about the ones who are actually sort of perhaps cheating the government of thousands of crores?
Let's first understand the problems that the government is facing right now.
Okay.
The problems is that right now the collections of the personal taxes are around 22% of the total tax income, which is around 5.2 lakhs crores out of 22 lakhs crores. The issue is that right now the government's indirect tax collections in forms of GST or be it oil prices, that is getting stagnated. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bump up the collection of personal taxes. Okay. But what is the problem here is that they are just focusing on getting the money from the salaried class, which are anyway paying a lot of taxes on their income. Okay. The government is really not focusing on the big fish. They are not trying to get money from the big industries who are anyhow making a lot of NPAs, and as you can see, there is a lot of cash crunch also in the system. Secondly, the government is not at all focusing on taxing agricultural income for the rich farmers. So
okay.
That the problem is the government is just trying to milk some more money from the salary taxpayer, which is really not going to bring much results for the government itself. So this is really, I would say, just trying to be penny wise, pound foolish. That's all.
Okay, fair point. Shoku Shrivastav is on the phone line with us from Mumbai with his comment. Shoku, go ahead.
Thank you, Ankita. The earlier caller who had just called in, my question is similar to his.
Okay.
Number one, we as salaried taxpayers have been paying the tax regularly, honestly, for the last so many years.
Yes.
I have a question for the government. What about the politicians? Whether they are also a very important section of the society, whether they are members of parliament, they are MLAs, MLCs, yes. Even municipal councillors. Have they paid any taxes in the last 15 to 20 years? I think there should be an RTI query to find out exactly what's the status of this class of the society paying taxes. Number two, the salaried class should be given some time. They should be given some training or more education should be there. In certain countries in the world, with the tax laws when enacted,
yes.
they are not retrospective.
Right.
They about a year or 2 years are given wherein all the systems, procedures, forms are known to the general public,
yes.
to the tax-paying community, and then they file their taxes. So time should be given and the taxpayers should be educated.
Okay, Shoku Shrivastav, some very helpful points there from you, particularly the fact that the salaried class perhaps should be given more time to familiarize themselves with the systems and the processes. Let's hope your voice is going across to the Income Tax Department as we speak, but also a very, very relevant point being made about what about the taxation of politicians? What taxes are they paying? Can there in fact be a right to information query to find out those details? Because frankly, if the honest citizen of this country is parting with a third of his salary, then why should politicians be any different at all? We have another caller on the phone line, Cherian, joining us from Bengaluru at this point. Cherian, go ahead with your question or comment.
Ma'am, I have one question. Okay.
Yes.
Why is that only the salaried people are being taxed every now and then?
Sorry, pardon, could you say that again?
Is that only salaried people are being taxed every now and then?
Yes. Why is it that only salaried people are being taxed? Well, everyone's supposed to pay taxes, but the salaried people certainly, especially those whose taxes are deducted at source, are clearly particularly affected here. But Mr. Cherian, Bengaluru is in fact apparently where the tax frauds happened, which has brought the IT department's notice squarely on the salaried taxpayer. There were people who were underreporting their income or perhaps inflating their deductions and exemptions with the help, the Income Tax Department is saying they did this with the help of certain unscrupulous tax advisors. Now, Akhil Chandna, if you want to come in on this point, what do people, if people want to sort of tweak their income tax returns, what is it that you would suggest to them? Because the Income Tax Department seems to be saying that, if you're getting advice on how to sort of bend the law, go around it, then just don't do that because there are going to be huge penalties for it.
No, so, as rightly pointed out by you, that, the people needs to be educated, and, there's a lack of education when it comes to the filing of return. Let's see what happened in Bengaluru, and, the people of big companies who have revised the return to claim refunds. They've been trapped by these tax advisors, and these tax advisors have been given a 10% as a portion of the refund as a fees. So, first is the most important point is about education. Now, I think, as I said, it's important for us, each one of us to be compliant and ensure that they are now underreporting of income or excess or false claim or deduction from their income. So, because a lot of people in salary class, because they have some exemptions available under Section 10, they have some deductions available under Section 80. So yes. I think it's important for everyone, when they're claiming HRA, they should not give a false receipt, false rent agreements, and, make proper declarations when they're claiming deductions under 80C. Because now everything is getting linked with Aadhaar, PAN, and,
right.
Government.
You're saying there will be many more checks, and therefore people will be caught out more easily as well.
If you see in ITR 1, which the new form which has been notified by the government, they have come out with more details asking about, when because last year there was an amendment that when, paying a rent of 50,000 or more to the landlord, then you have to deduct TDS. So they've come out with the requirement for the PAN of the landlord.
Yes.
They've come with the requirement on more details on salary. So, but as I said in the beginning that, government should also understand why this is happening to the salaried class. They should come with more relief. This year they've come out with a salary reduction of 40,000, but taken away medical reimbursement.
Okay, fair enough. We have another comment coming in from Ludhiana. This is Major Samra's video comment that he sent to us. Let's try and play that out.
In Income Tax Department introduced a new clause in the income tax return form that should you make a mistake while filing the income tax return, it will be construed that you are hiding some income.
Right.
This is going to hurt the pensioners and the salaried class most, because these are the people who pay their taxes very honestly. For the salaried class, the tax is deducted at source. For the pensioners, the bank deducts the income tax per month. Why is government harassing the salaried and pensioners only? There are crooks in the country who make lakhs of rupees without declaring anything. Even some of the rediwalas, some of the small business people are making more money than the salaried people.
Okay.
There are crooks who are running away with money. Why the government wants to all the time harass the people?
Okay, fair enough. Major Samra, we take your point. I'm also going to take one more caller. Aneesh Doshi is calling us from Mumbai. Aneesh, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. My question is really simple. Is it the salaried personnel's problem that there are so many loopholes in the tax system? And is it that we don't have enough and more things to look after anyway, working from morning to night, that if there is maybe a mistake, or is the tax code that hard to understand that it may be an innocent mistake? There are a lot of places in the world where it's a simple online form where it's very indicative and clear that this is allowed and this is not allowed. Shouldn't there be a probe on the person who wrote the tax with the loophole,
fair point,
as opposed to catching the people who actually, had a problem with it?
Okay, that's a very interesting point being brought up by Aneesh, and if our guest would like to comment on that. Is it the fault of the taxpayer that there are loopholes in the system that you can actually exploit? And in fact, maybe chartered accountants and tax advisors and so on will in fact advise you exactly to exploit those loopholes, because they are getting money to advise you to do so. So is there an anomaly in the law itself, in the rules themselves, and is that why there are all these chinks in the system? Vaibhav, if you would want to respond to that.
Basically, the tax laws are drafted in such a manner that they are a little ambiguous, and a lot of people suffer, and then only they will be able to satisfy the harassment. I mean, then only the tax department will be able to harass the individual. So if everything is so simple, the tax department will never be able to make much money. And that is why, due to such a strong lobby, the tax laws are never simplified. In fact, they keep on getting more difficult to understand.
Okay. I believe we have some more voices now coming in from Mumbai. If we can just play that out for our viewers. Okay, I believe we have in fact another caller. This is Pandurang calling us from Mumbai. Pandurang, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, let me make it clear that Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, lied to the nation when he said the 1,000 rupee and the 500 rupee demonetized notes can be returned till 31st March. Because they just stopped accepting the notes, and the Prime Minister lied. Can you believe it in any nation?
But how is that relevant really to
taxpayer?
Okay.
Now they are trying to squeeze the taxpayer like a lemon. It's only the individual taxpayer who is a honest taxpayer in this country, and now they want to harass the taxpayer to innumerable means. It's something which is absolutely not accepted. The politicians who have agricultural income are not taxed, whereas the taxpayer is squeezed like a lemon dry. And now the lemon is absolutely dry, it's the skin which is being squeezed. And hence it is going to be a very, very bitter reaction. I'm warning the BJP to stop this harassment, otherwise they are not going to be there in the next election.
Okay, strong words there from Pandurang Narayanswamy, saying that the voters are angry that the government is bereft of ideas on how to collect money from people, that the government has misrepresented certain positions. They're going after the salaried people because they're the weakest of all. They are the ones who do pay their taxes already. So why should they be squeezed further and further? Some very angry voices coming in tonight. We also heard various suggestions being made about perhaps warnings first before any kind of penal action is taken. Also, why are there loopholes in the system that can be exploited in the first place? So a range of suggestions coming in. We'll have to call it a day at this point because we're completely out of time, but we'll continue to highlight this and continue to listen to your voices on this big story. The salaried taxpayer very, very upset at this point with that new advisory that's been issued by the Income Tax Department. That's it on this edition of Livestream. Do stay tuned. There's much more coming up on NDTV 24/7.